Hello and welcome to Game of Stools, presented by Barstool Sports and My Mom's Basement. It is Robbie Fox, KFC, Clem, and Nick Hamilton back again to recap House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 3. How we doing, boys?
Doing good, feeling good. Little setup episode, but I feel like we're on the right path right now.
Clem got the candles going. He's a nun. Got the Abbey on. Unbelievable, as always.
I loved this episode. I thought this episode was
muted,
badass.
Said it's perfect, Clem. Absolutely perfect.
It is. Even the color is matching. You knock it out of the park every week. I thought this episode was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And the ending scene, oh my God, phenomenal. The acting in it. Also, the entire production value of this episode. The dragon CGI, some of the big shots at King's Landing, the big overhead shots. This was movie level.
I've heard all about the budget being, slashed, and that's why you're only getting 8 episodes and all that and the other. This one could not have been cheap because it was the most visually stunning of the season so far, or the series maybe.
Yeah.
That opening scene when they just do that quick cut to a full battlefield of just dead people.
Yeah.
Did
anybody win that war at all? Everyone was fucking dead.
Everyone.
I thought we were about to get a flashback and then get to see that war,
Yeah,
but
me too.
kind of wanted to see that. The fact that people were laid across the whole field, I don't think I've ever seen that even in a lot of war movies. Maybe the Patriot was the closest one.
I got to see some dragon cards sooner or later, though. I appreciate the charred remains and being oh, shit went down. I need to see some fucking dragons breathing fire. And real dragons, not that little bitch baby dragon we saw today fly and swoop down. I need to see some real fucking dragon. It's House of the Dragon.
Whoa, that bitch dragon? Are you calling
spitting
Moon
fire.
Dancer a bitch? Or I had my note. Moon Dancer might be my favorite dragon.
Cool name. Sweet name. That's the biggest thing. You're a little lost in the name, Bob. I was lost in the name at first as well.
No, it's the green and white for me. The green and white color scheme is fire.
Great color scheme
No
as
pun
well.
intended.
We're talking like this is the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Cool jerseys, cool colors, and the team was a 64 overall in NHL 94. I'm bigger than that dragon. I'm not a dragon. I'm a human being, and I'm bigger than a fucking weapon of mass destruction. I need to see some fucking dragons, man. It's fucking halfway through the season. What is the best dragon moment of the season so far?
Dude, listen, we've
episode,
edged
Moon
enough. We've
Moon Dancer.
We've edged enough. We've built up enough. Rhaenys could have ended this whole fucking thing. Homegirl, this episode could have ended the whole thing at the forest with one quick Jacaerys. I get that Rhaenyra is peaceful and cautious, but this war could have been over twice already for them. 2 times it would have been done. Or at least a serious blow wiping out Sir Criston and his gang. And, it's all in the name of trying to stop a war that is 1,000,000,000% inevitable. That scene with Rhaenys laid it out so well. It was pretty much going to be war when Aemond lost his eye. It was definitely going to be war when Lucerys got eaten by a fucking dragon. It's definitely going to be war when a baby's head is chopped off. And now everything is fucking rolling. It's too late. So you probably should just start killing major players if you have the opportunity to do so.
I'm so confused. I thought the war started. Probably when the kid got eaten by a dragon.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like they're starting to mobilize and they're asking whose side you're on, but it's let's get a battle. Let's get a dragon. Let's get, the war needs to actually begin now.
You guys mentioned
let's get right into the episode.
The way it was shot, shot. This happened when Damon was in Harrenhal. I go, my dumb brain forgets that that's not really Harrenhal, and he's not really they do such a good fucking job. That was the best thing about Thrones. When you watch Thrones every week, you were in Westeros, and you're like, holy shit, this is real. And it just blows my mind that these are just real places that they just do up, and these fucking cinematographers and film people, they just fucking crush it. It was a beautiful episode. Like I said, the acting too. That last scene is, good luck topping that one the rest of the season.
Let's get right into the episode. We start with the Bracken and Blackwood. They're arguing over land, almost like a medieval Yellowstone. How they're like, this is our land. No, it's your land. And they go back and forth. Their families have been at war forever. It's been lost to time why they're even arguing. It's like, yep, they're just Yankees and Red Sox forever destined to be enemies. And you get that jump cut that we mentioned where you don't actually see the battle, but it's like flash forward. Everyone's fucking dead. That guy Davos, though, badass. He was from last season. He was the kid that put down a kill. I think his name was Davos, right?
I think so. It was something with a D, because I was expecting, everyone's been talking about Ben Bracken or something, but it wasn't him. He
grew up a lot. It was almost the Stranger Things thing in between seasons. Like last season, he was a kid. This season, he's fucking an adult. He has a beard and hit puberty, basically. But great opening to the episode. And you see like Eric getting buried, and Rhaenys kind of goes over to Rhaenyra at the very beginning of the episode. She's like, I think we got one more option left. She's like, I think Alicent, she's got a little softness in her eyes, to borrow a term from Star Wars. There's a little light left in her. I think there's a chance you could turn her because she's a mother. I don't think she wants the carnage. And this scene, it almost made me like, it hammered it home for me. Rhaenys, I know she could have ended the war with the dragon, but she might be the most rational person on the entire show.
100%.
Definitely.
If Rhaenys never got passed over and she just became queen, be the most peaceful reign ever. Yeah. Everybody would be living good. The kingdom would be great. She is very much the only like person I would trust, and Rhaenyra too. I think there's a lot, Rhaenyra listens to her, and they're very similar. But it's like, enough's enough. They tried. She tried her fucking best.
Yeah.
It's like the wheel, like Alicent says in the end, not to jump forward, it's too late. But I agree with you. She's the only one that's very level-headed about this whole thing.
Just the way she looks makes me trust her. Like when she's just like looking, and if she's like agreeing with Rhaenyra, I'm like, oh, that's a good call, Rhaenyra, because your aunt says it's a good call. Nothing, it doesn't even say it, just like has the nodding head of approval. She's fucking like Mr. Miyagi has the same look. I don't know how to describe it. It's just that fucking look.
That's I went back and was rewatching the first season today, and she's like that the whole time, where she's clearly the better pick for ruler, even over Viserys. Like she just always knows the right call, and like they really fucked up picking Viserys.
Yeah, Game of
and
Thrones.
Even, like she handles it well. Like she's not bitter.
No, she has probably one of the most claims to be like the most pissed off of all, and she's always telling her husband like, forget about it, don't worry, it's water under the bridge, can't do anything about it. So yeah, she's the level-headed one.
At the funeral for the twins, they said he is the basest of villains, I think was the line. I thought that was a compliment. And they're like, no, like if I saw that on Twitter, like he's the base, like I thought base, like that's base. So I was like, he's the base. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And then I think I was kind of spitting on his grave. Also, I want to bring up this point, but before I bring it up, Kevin, did you watch the intro today? Or are you just going to fucking consult the intro the entire season?
I don't think I'm even. No, I'm listen, guys, I'm not watching the intro. I'm not fucking watching it. I get it. It's a tapestry. It's being sewn. I don't care about it.
Well, I'll tell you what we got. We got the dead baby on the tapestry this week.
Oh,
it wasn't headless. It was just they had the baby, and then they had like the neck red, and you're like, oh, baby's fucking neck cut.
If they gave me, if there was a head that was like tipped halfway off, kind of like opened up like that, I'll watch it. I don't.
Pez dispenser, the old Pez dispenser.
Yes, yeah. Give me a Pez dispenser head chop. Yeah.
How has that not been a meme yet? I guess that's the level for the internet. They will not cross dead baby memes where someone made a Pez dispenser of little J. Harris. Or,
you know what? Somebody get on it. Give me a dead baby.
Do kids know what Pez is anymore? I mean, I do, but like Pez is kind of, I think of the past at this point.
So my kids do, but it's because my mom has been getting me Pez since I was like 2 years old, and now it's transferred to them as well as I still get Pez. So we both get Pez now.
Let's be honest. Pez is a bottom of the barrel candy. It's just the dispenser that's cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like who actually eats? You don't eat the Pez, do you, Clem?
Depends on the flavor. I will say that.
I mean, I could put a stick
grape,
of chalk in there.
Grape is pretty good, right?
It's pretty good. Yeah, the lemonade.
The yellow one.
Kev, listen, we're gonna go to the Pez. There's the Pez Hall of Fame factory, whatever the fuck is in Connecticut. I've been there. Lovely time. It's an American staple. So I can't. If I'm like speaking ill on Pez, I'm basically burning an American flag. Week of 4th of July, no less. We don't do that here on
I pledge fealty to the Pez.
Criston Cole, this fucking asshole. He's stressed. The first scene with him, it's his like first day as the hand, first day on the new job. He's late to the meeting. Everyone's like, oh, like I'm sure you were attending to important business as the new hand. This guy's stressed, and the council criticizes his whole plan with Eric. And Eric, he was like, no, I chose him to, be the savior of our whole team, and he just failed in his mission. Then they start talking about sending a raven to Lord Tully because they want to get control of the army in the Riverlands. There's like 40,000 swords in the Riverlands. They want to grab them by Harrenhal. But Cole is just concerned about speed. He's like, let's just fucking go as quickly as we can, get a couple of the boys. We'll get them together. And also, one of my favorite lines of this episode came when they were talking about Lord Tully, and they said he couldn't control his cock and a cunny.
Great one. Great one.
Insane line, but great.
I mean,
yeah, rolled off the tongue. Yeah.
I hope the fellas run around like out, the 4th of July weekend being like, I'm trying to get my cock and some cunny. Oh, man. That is a crazy line. You get any cunny?
It's a new Saturday for the boys.
I can see that in a Barstool flag in the future.
And that'll be our merch that we make. We'll get that out in the store.
So Tully, okay. Tully, is that Caitlin? Was Caitlin Tully? Okay, because I'll tell you, boys. I had after season 1, I read like I saw a family tree, and I got everything in Thrones figured out for all 8 seasons. I'm swimming in names right now. I'm swimming in names, I'm swimming in families, and I'm lost. And I honestly, that was like 10 years ago. Thrones was when it was really cooking. Yeah. This brain is 10 years older, and it's 10 years, Kev. You know how it is. It's been through a pandemic too. Has 2 kids. I'm cooked. I'm gone. So I
started rewatching.
I can't hold my own.
Today, I'm so full back into Thrones world. I started rewatching season 1 of Thrones today. So as I'm watching, I'm trying to be like, wait, so who is that? A great grandson or great uncle or whatever? So I was just watching our girl Catelyn. So yeah, she was a Tully. So this is her, her great grandfather or some shit.
Yeah, and one thing I think we're going to take home from this, if you watch this and then rewatch the original, is like a lot of the stuff they talk about does come to pass. They're like, every time there's a war, the Riverlands just get butt fucked. They just get murdered because they're right in the middle. They're important, and both sides just lay waste to them. It happened, I believe, with Robert's Rebellion, and it's gonna, I believe, happen here. It's already happened. We saw what the dragons did off screen yet again. So it's like I got it. We're gonna see some.
Let me ask you a question. Generally speaking, though, I think what ended up fucking Game of Thrones in the end, I think, was also its greatest asset for like the middle seasons was we didn't have an answer because the book hadn't been written, Yeah. So when, we were making like Vegas odds on who could sit on the throne, and you could be like, maybe fucking Lord Baelish like pulls some shit and sneaks in. We don't know because George never finished these books. Because this is so far in the past, I'm assuming some of his books have already addressed everything that happens. I don't know what happened in the books, but I'm sure people out there already know how this ends. Is that safe to say?
Yeah.
So, like that does kind of ruin it a little bit, because when you brought up Sir Criston, like as much as I hate him, and the internet was fucking hating him, man. He was like #1 trending. People fucking loathe that guy. And all of a sudden, my mindset on him flipped from one comment. Some dude DM'd me and he said, you got to admit, though, he's climbing the ladder. And I was like, it just kind of like whacked me in the head, because I was thinking, that's all that really matters in Game of Thrones is like, are you getting closer to the throne? And, you either do it by, you're powerful, or you're beloved, or you're like slimy and grimy, like a Lord Baelish, So I was like, maybe Criston Cole, we should give a little more respect, because at the end of the day, he went from a nobody to the head of the Kingsguard, now to the hand. Like, he's getting closer. But everything he does is kind of in the name of I'm pissed off from like a high school love, like, he's like a scorned lover. So I don't want to give him any of that credit. But in the end, I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure I know he doesn't end up, on the throne. So it's a little bit different from the first time around, where even the slimiest of guys, you kind of had to like, maybe it could happen. But Sir Criston is climbing. He just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Because riding into war like that today, like he's exactly what Otto said he is. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing.
That's going back and watching the first episodes. Like, I forgot that he was just a knight. He's not even a lord, nothing. He was just like the only knight in the tournament that actually fought in wars a little bit. So he won. He beat Damon forgot about all of that.
Mhm.
Going back and watching it, and then like, and seeing he has climbed, but it's always just because like he's trying to fuck Rhaenyra, and then he's trying to he's fucking Alicent, and like honestly,
He's
if
failing
anyone
upwards.
else was in that
He
room
is.
beside
That's the difference. The other guys were conniving and like doing it on purpose. He is failing upwards for sure. But there is part of me that's like, as long as you're moving closer to that crown, does it really matter? But he keeps this up, and I don't, he's gonna get Dracarys someday. He's gonna get fucking flamed at this rate.
I thought there was a chance they were gonna do it today. I was like, when the dragon was closing in, I was like, oh my God, is this gonna happen? And I love that Throne still has that factor.
How about Buzz the Tower? Just like give me a little quick Dracarys. You don't have to flame, like burn the trees and like you could be next, bitch.
Yeah, Alicent's brother. No one thinks he's lasting more than like 3 days, right? Like, I thought he was. They're like, this is her brother,
Wayne.
and now he's dead. Like, I thought that was
Gwaine,
coming.
not Dwayne. Gwaine.
Just
a slight change.
All time bad name. Gwaine. Oh my God, Gwaine's World. That guy sucks, man.
That's good.
Gwaine's
World. I like that.
When he showed up, I was like, oh, okay. Like he's putting that fuckhead Sir Criston, he just has that fuck ass haircut now too, and he put him in his place a little bit. But then it turns out he's even more of a bitch than Sir Criston Cole. He makes Sir Criston Cole look like a badass soldier the way he operates.
I'm telling you, that's
not. I want him to be my guy too. Did you know what his name is? His real name?
No, what?
Freddie Fox.
Oh, no shit.
As soon as I saw Freddie Fox pop up in the credits, like me and my girlfriend looked up, like, who does Freddie Fox play in this show? I haven't seen that name before. And then we saw, like, oh, it's a new character. I was like, this could be my guy. He showed up, and I was like, oh, fuck. It's like when, like, you draw a number in the Royal Rumble, and then you got Bushwhacker Luke. And you're like, oh.
You got to put that on Criston Cole's resume, too. Got roasted by a guy named Gwaine with fucking lots of hair. That's brutal. Again, Criston Cole, the hand of the king, the dick of the queen, and a brain of fucking rocks. Yeah. A box of rocks brain. It's incredible that this guy, and my theory now is that George R.R. Martin knew someone in high school or, grammar school. I'm sure they called it grammar school when he was in school. And there was some dickhead named Criston that was good looking, but sucked at everything he did, and he would always just, fail upwards because he was so good. Because that's all Criston Cole has, is literally his good looks. He has nothing else. Yet I'm telling you, man, this shit is rooted in George. This is Shakespeare in Love, where you learn about all the shit of I'm telling you right now, tomorrow George R.R. Martin's gonna come out with that shit. Because Criston Cole has no business being the fucking hand of the king and the queen.
They did a bad job with that, like. Or maybe this is the point. Maybe we're not supposed to respect him at all in any way. But like, if he is some sort of, they talk about like, he's known for like his sword and not his brain. It's like we should have at least seen something other than just a jousting tournament in season 1. Show me like a battle where he like did some shit like Damon beating the Crab King, and then you're like, oh, okay, I respect this guy, because right now ain't nothing to respect about him.
Even his dick game, I don't even know it's that good.
No.
Like Alicent is someone that knows good dick for bad dick. She was fucking old ass Viserys or whatever his name is for God knows how long, and then she went right to him. Like
that's true.
There's no buffer. She's not like, oh, she didn't run wild with some stallions. She went to fucking Criston Cole.
He gives good head. That's about it.
He gives good head.
Yeah,
it gets you a long way, far away in life. That could get you very far. So.
The White Worm stuck around after she ratted out Eric, and Rhaenyra meets with her. She basically offers herself as an informant. She's like, maybe that we could work out a little deal here. I got stuff valuable to you. You got stuff valuable to me. Also, they mention Sea Smoke has just been like anxious. He's been like wilding out in the fucking ocean. And that seems like it's going to pop off soon as well. That seemed like it's a tease for something that's actually going to pay off this season, if not very soon. Because the way they lingered on that was weird.
And that's Laenor's, like vacant dragon, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Now, like, how come a motherfucker's not claiming that dragon right goddamn away? Like, someone you got your dragon stolen from you before by having a vacant dragon. Why are you not sending another little kid?
Is
to
it
go
just
get
not
it?
letting anyone claim it? Is it flying away from people or something?
I think if I
guess
remember
they didn't
from
really
last
say.
year, people were saying as long as the rider is alive, like they don't let anyone else claim it. And it being upset now might mean Laenor died when he was, fucking off in Pentos.
Ooh, yeah.
Or that he has some sort of, he knows he's not dead, so he's like, you can't claim me. I'm just out here wild stallion sort of.
I got like anxiety watching that dragon too. I'm like, yo, there's no manuals for dragons. Like, who's to say that dragon doesn't just burn down the whole castle one night because he hasn't gotten laid in a while, or hasn't gotten rid of it?
The dragons do feel a lot to me like the people who own chimpanzees. and they're like, no, we've trained them, and like they know who we are. And it's like, yeah, but then one day they beat your face off. So if all the dragons just decided to be like, we're gonna turn on you people and go live, a life in like the Dragonlands, you're all fucked.
He's wearing overalls and no sign language. He's harmless. He can't hurt you.
Also, Rhaenyra tells Rhaena that she's going to send her youngest off with her. She's kind of like, hey, we can't allow for babies to keep getting killed here. Why don't you take a sacrifice, take one for the team, and be the mother that I can't be to them right now? And she's pissed about it, obviously, because she's kind of being like exiled in a way, but she knows what she has to do. She's going through with it.
I hand up. They were like, oh, they got to us, this and that. Flat out forgot that the whole twins barged in like right in front of her and dueling in front of her. I completely like passed my mind. And then after the episode, I was like, oh shit, that was a real problem. Like now I understand why the kids are out, the dragon and eggs are out. Again, bad brain. I don't watch. I'm gonna have to watch the previously on from now on. I've reached that stage of life. If it spoils something for me by mistake, I'll have to live with it.
Clem, you can check out. I do 5-minute recaps every week for the normal people. I do Game of Thrones recaps for the normal people. If you don't want to spend 10 minutes on the opening intro and you don't want to do, a 59-minute recap, you want to just get to the point, I got you covered every week. The Sunday right before the episode comes out, I got you covered.
Where can I find those, Kev?
You can go on where videos are streamed and find me at 5 Minute Man.
There we
like
go.
1 Minute Man, but for 5 minutes.
And these episodes will be on the My Mom's Basement accounts. It will not be on the Game of Stools. That's going to end up going vacant at some point, I believe, right? Is that the plan? So we'll throw them on My Mom's Basement for now. Is that what we're thinking?
Yeah, everything's on My Mom's Basement so that all these subscribers are going to an active channel rather than Game of Stools, which is been dead for a while now. So a few people were saying, where is the audio or where can I download it? Everything's on My Mom's Basement. We should probably put this on the Game of Stools feed or just get rid of the Game of Stools.
So people know.
I'm gonna change the cover of the Game of Stools feed to say go to My Mom's Basement.
Yeah, perfect.
Good call.
Yeah.
One of the most badass scenes, Clem mentioned it. It was the most badass looking scene is when Damon rides his dragon into Harrenhal. That half torn down castle, the blue glow and the lightning and everything about the way they shot this was just like movie worthy, chills worthy. And I love he walks in, he's like, I'm claiming Harrenhal. And Strong just goes, apparently so.
Yeah, no, I fucking hope so too, dude.
I guess so. Yeah, like
I have been waiting for this.
He's like poison him, and they're like, "You're welcome here." Like, my lord, he corrects himself a few times. He's like, "My prince, my lord." I'm sorry, my lord. Yep, you're definitely here.
That was like,
and they fucking hate Larys. Like the Strongs hate him. They're like, we don't claim fucking Clubfoot. He's a
you set them all on fire.
Yeah.
When Damon arrived in the throne, that was when Damon arrived in the throne room of Harrenhal or whatever when they were eating dinner. That was like when Brandon got his live stream just flooded by stoolies. It's like, I love Dave Portnoy. Dave Portnoy's great. Oh, those wonderful people who made me. I like you guys. And he like bent the knee immediately. It was like the only way out. And like they I feel like the arrows stopped flying as much once he did that.
Dude, that poor guy that got bashed in the face for no reason.
For no reason.
They're just like, fucking Terry's down.
David just one punched that guy, man.
Yeah. They would have let him in. Yeah. He was like, I was going to hold the door for you, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, that scene, the way the dragon lands on the top and you see somebody run away and the lightning cracks, it was like, oh, that's fucking a great shot.
If they didn't have this scene, I wouldn't think Moondancer's small. Because when I saw Damon on Caraxes, I was like, oh shit, that thing is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to squint to be like, who's riding that thing right now?
Yeah.
I just recognize it because it looks praying mantis-y. Like it's all like long and creepy.
I also got to shout out the people doing the closed captions now. They're smart. They're saying they put in all these little things like eerie music, and I'm like, oh shit, this is bad. This is very bad. I basically did Stephen A. Smith, and it's like it ends up not being bad. Everything turned out all right. Also, the guy who was like the head of Harrenhal, he's from something, isn't he? I feel like he's like a guy from something. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. There was one
Find
guy
out.
later on that was in the Team Black Council that I thought looked like the Irish dude from Bridesmaids, but different guy.
Yes, there's
You know who
definitely
I'm
a
talking
guy
about?
for that as well. Yes, that character has been out of my mind since the last time I watched Bridesmaids. That guy feels like he could be someone for sure. This guy just felt weird. I don't know. Also, like you said, I love that just says like he's like Larys Strong. He's like, oh, Larys Clubfoot. Fuck that guy. We don't claim him here in this household. That was awesome.
And the fact that he was like, yeah, don't you think it's weird that like his brother and dad died in a rainy, damp place due to a fire, the first fire that's happened in fucking forever? It's like, well, yeah, probably
That
pretty
dude's
strange.
the creepy cousin, man, too. Like, he's always lingering in the shadows. Like, everyone hates the club. There's nothing better than when you don't like someone, but they're like, you're talking to their family or a friend or something, and you realize they don't like him. It's like, yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck that guy. I hate that guy for years. I've been waiting to talk shit about him forever. That was a beautiful scene. Beautiful scene.
Oh my God, Criston Cole's haircut. I tweeted
The
weird
worst.
haircut. Cole, what the fuck happened there? I mean, like, is
Bro.
he stressed? He just doesn't have the time to do the gel at this point. Allison introduces him to Gawain, Freddie Fox, and obviously they hate each other right off the bat. They butt heads right away. And there's that crazy shot as they head off of one of the rat catchers getting his eye eaten out by a fucking raven.
Oh, you know
That shit was
that
crazy.
city must smell right now.
I was thinking the
All
same
those
thing.
Rat catchers. By the way, there's probably a bunch of fucking rats running around now too, because nobody's out there, nobody's catching them, and you got dead bodies rotting everywhere. Oh, that haircut though, to again throw it back to early Brandon Walker. That haircut is Brandon Walker-esque, like the infamous. Looks like you got your hair cut with the knife and fork. That
Yes.
shit is bad. But, you can't have your flowing locks when you go to battle. You can't. I get it, but man.
You can't,
downgrade.
like Damon does, right? He's got longer hair than Criston
I'm
Cole, and he lets
assuming
it
that's
fucking
what
ride.
Yeah, no, don't. I mean, there's plenty of guys who do. I'm just assuming that's why he did it, right? I mean,
Maybe
he's about to go to.
he didn't want to cornrow it up like a UFC fight.
Either way, that shit is.
Everything Criston Cole has been losses. He comes out with the dumbest haircut, and you know what he gets for looking like a fucking tool? He gets the queen's titty handkerchief. That shit must have been. It's like the fucking the shit that the clubfoot would do with that thing.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Wretched,
he would turn that into a stone block like that.
No, we're absolutely getting
Talking
the
cum here,
scene.
people. We're talking cum.
We're absolutely getting the scene of Criston Cole just huffing that thing at some point. While he's
Rubbing it in between his toes and shit.
Rhaenyra's council. This was a great scene too, and the council suggests they're like, yeah, our lord, maybe you should find some safety somewhere. Maybe you should head off and let us handle this. And she's like, that would be treason. And then Rhaenys comes in and she's like, let me just remind you whose crown she's wearing, and brings up, I think it's Jacaerys. He's like, she's wearing a fucking crown of Jacaerys. She's got the traits. She knows what she's doing. And then she walks out of the room with like kind of like another mic drop moment for her. I loved this scene.
The only thing I don't like is Rhaenyra's council is like the most nameless, faceless, like nobodies. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Like, and maybe they're not going to be a big part of the show, so they just kind of whip through it. Like we've seen Aegon's team enough that like we know who they are. Those guys, it's just like, oh, okay, we get it. You guys are like war hawks who just like want fucking war and they're pushing for it. But when they're on the screen, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about you guys. But that was definitely a quick, like, you better remember, like, I'm the fucking queen. You guys are morons. Although they might be right. I think they're right. Like, let's go, baby.
They probably are.
Yeah.
yeah, like we should bring some dragons. Bring one in.
Right. Or at least like, let's do something. Let's kill like somebody.
That they have to be wearing, like, it's like they're always wearing gray too, where like you're like, oh shit, that's Lannister at the King's Council, right? Where as with her council, they're NPCs. Like you're like, these guys,
that's exactly what they are.
You just skip their scenes, just hold X and skip their bullshit, right?
There's only I recognize the Veil because I think they just put him in the same armor as when the Veil showed up at the Battle of the Bastards. So I'm like, okay, I know who this guy is. I have no idea who the rest are.
That goes over my head.
And when she says treason, when the T word gets brought up, I'm like, oh shit, someone's head might get chopped off. Like Game of Thrones has conditioned me. When the T word is mentioned, shit might go down.
Big time. Rhaenys suggests that Corlys name Rhaena his heir because it's either her or Joffrey, and Joffrey's young, doesn't know what he's doing, but he's against it. He says she knows nothing of the tides or the dragons. I think we said it last week, but it feels like he's going to die pretty soon, right? It feels like they're kind of like gearing him up for a death.
Bob, I have it in my notes. I don't feel good. It's like fucking Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon, or the guy who, I just got my retirement. My wife and I are going down to North Carolina and we're going to retire together. I don't feel good. And let me tell you, I ain't happy, because I'll tell you, Corlys and Rhaenys are so fucking adorable together.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see the way she was hugging her hips and she's just giving him that look? It's fucking, I don't know if this is like a hot take, but Chip and Joanna Gaines, I love those two, the fucking home improvement people. They're like my favorite couple in the world. And that's these people. These are the dragon version of those people, man. They're just fucking adorable. I love them. And bad shit's about to happen. It sucks.
Yeah. That's going to be a sad day when the sea snake finally goes and Rhaenys is sad. And I mean, he's one of the only relatively honorable dudes too. Like, he made his play for the throne, but didn't cross any lines too badly. Him, his wife, and Rhaenyra are like the only good people in this whole fucking show.
That's the way that she's talking, like how she's being a badass. Just Thrones has me conditioned to think we're losing her, and then we're gonna.
That would fucking. Nick.
That's what
Nick.
What would Rhaenyra do then? Because that's like where she has to be like, fuck this whole council, bring Corlys in, bring the people closest in. Let the sun.
Maybe that would be great. Maybe that's why they're not giving us anything about the council, because she's about to wipe them all out and just bring in the like when your basketball team subs in a whole new five because you're sucking so bad. Coach is like, all you get out, bring in a whole new team. I also think that if I remember his conversations with her is about which of my children could be on the throne, and then we know that there's those two bastards, Alan and Adam, lurking. So I feel like that's all going to come together. And
you're probably right. I didn't even put that together. Yeah.
Wait a second. That motherfucker cheated on Rhaenys. That's how you get bastards.
Listen, that's like everybody's got bastards in this world. It's
back then, did they even know the term cheating, or was it just like?
It's like the mafia. Like, you're almost like, if you don't have a Gumar, it's like this guy's a cop. He's not fucking.
And I'll tell you though, rewatching Game of Thrones episode 1, Lady Stark is just such a fucking dick to Jon Snow. Oh, like, give him a fucking break. God damn,
awful to him, and that's just letting it happen, knowing. That's not even his bastard. He's just like,
right.
That's you, girl.
Dude, shout out to Ned Stark for, not just snapping one of those days, just being like, it's not even my fucking kid. Shut up about it.
God damn.
Rhaenyra,
you bringing up Rhaenys' death might be the most fucked up thing on this entire show.
That was fucked.
Worse than the childbirth stuff.
Yeah.
I'm so nervous about everything in this show. Like, I'm just looking for what's going to rip my heart out the most. It's going to be that. So I'm just getting ready for it now.
That's a good. I actually, I take it back, because now you've prepared me for it mentally, even though I don't want to think about it. When it happens, you're like, at least when the Red Wedding, that was a bus just running me over.
Yeah.
I didn't see it anywhere. At least I have it in the back of my brain. I don't like it. I'm gonna say this: if Corlys does die and Rhaenys is alive, she's gonna fucking go to that council and put on a fucking show. She's gonna have her best moment of the season during that moment. I'm calling it right now, June 30th.
Rhaenyra sends Stormcloud and Tyraxes off with Rhaena and the kids. She also gives them a couple dragon eggs that are they have them like a catering tray, like they're steaming and everything. They take the tray off, they put it back on. I thought that was hysterical. And they kind of make these two dragons out to be pussies. She's like, I'll send you the two. Like, they almost sounded like they were like plant eaters or something.
Yeah, listen, you sent me the fucking herbivores. If I trade you like all my army in exchange for a dragon, and you give me like a salamander and an egg, I'm not happy about that. Like, that's like that was not what we fucking agreed upon. Give me one of your real fucking dragons.
Yeah.
Now wait, and also, like, are those dragons going to become?
Daenerys, I think.
What's that? Yeah, Dany's dragons.
Yeah, and it makes sense because they said, aren't they sending Rhaena to Pentos? That's like, and how did those eggs get there in the first place? This kind of connects that.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realize that either.
One of them, it seems like, would have to hatch though, because they got 4 eggs, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in episode 1, they're like, these eggs are so old they've hardened to stone, and that's then she like brings it back to life or whatever, Danny. So those are probably those eggs.
Yeah, I think so, because it's the red, green, blue.
Yeah.
You can also lie, be like, "Oh, these dragons will be up and going in no time." Like, no one's gonna fucking call you on it. There's no
Also it's like,
how long
it's like you like knock on it, like, yeah, no, this one's gonna be about 100 feet long. Yeah, don't worry, it's not gonna be those types. I promise.
In fact, if you're a Targaryen, all you do is just send painted rocks to people all the time. Like, yo, you got a dragon. They don't know the fuck. When they said, "What does the king look like? Have you ever seen him?" I'm like, "Oh shit, they don't know what the king looks like." No idea. If you've seen him, you probably see him once in every 10 years, and you're fucking like 800 miles away as they're greeting the crowds. Like, you can see whatever you want these times.
Dude, that's like a Zach Morris Saved by the Bell, like just paint this fucking rock blue and give it to him.
Isn't that what America did with moon rocks? Didn't we send fake moon rocks to like every country in the world? Then we were like, "Oh, this is to commemorate like our trip to the moon. Here's a souvenir." And then they tested them, and it was like plywood.
Bob.
All right, we got demonetized. 41 minutes is when we got demonetized. That's a record for us, actually.
And while we're at it, if we're demonetized, cunt.
Cock and a cunny. Helena feels really bad about being sad about her baby being beheaded. She walks into Alicent. She's like, it feels shitty, but I'm a little bit sad about this. It's bumming me out a little bit that my
young
baby
Sheldon out here just being like, I feel bad that my baby was beheaded.
Young Sheldon.
God, man.
And Alicent's like, it's okay if you grieve. Like it was your baby. And then Helena's like, I forgive you. And it's kind of Alicent's like, what? She's like,
dude, when she first said
tricks on it,
when she was first like, the poor people have lost more babies than I have, so like they deserve to grieve more. That was great. That was a great line. It's heart wrenching that they're treating her like she's got some sort of like emotional disconnection, and it's just like crushing. But then that I forgive you is like, you brought it up we didn't talk about it, but you said, remember what you saw that night? I saw it. I forgive you. That's got to be even worse for her to be like, oh shit, she does know.
Yeah. They're making this weirdo into a pretty likable character too, Helena.
Yeah, totally.
I was just gonna say, I love this bitch. I love her. I feel terrible for her. And I honestly, she has me at the edge of my seat. I'm like, yo, what's happening in the show next? Because she's gonna I hope the rat stuff isn't her last like spoiler in fucking riddles. I want more riddles.
Yeah.
Elena riddles keep me going in this show.
Yeah, I mean, things ended with Bran so shitty that you forget that like the other 20 times he was on camera, it was always pretty cool when he was predicting things and seeing things and one-eyed raven type shit. And she has some of that, but they have not touched into that in like 5-6 episodes.
I had a tweet ready to go. I thought she was going to drop some shit, and I had from the election, the debate. I don't know what he said. That's in the chamber. Like, just be ready. I'm going to send that off. Second, she says some weird shit.
Yeah.
Kev, what happened with Bran at the end of this? I don't remember Thrones. Did he die at the end of it?
No, I don't know. I never watched it. It.
I thought he was going to get the throne. I said it like in like season 6, and I was laughed at, mocked, ridiculed, all the above. I don't
never saw it. I don't care. I don't know what you're talking about.
Aegon is preparing himself for war. He's wearing the armor of Aegon the Conqueror, and they're all suiting him up, I guess, getting it more fitted for him. And Larys walks in, realizes what's happening. He's very against it, and he plays Aegon like a fiddle. He just walks in. He's like, they've been kind of calling you a pussy out there. I don't know if you should be doing this. Like the way he went about it was like, there's rumors that you kind of got forced into this, and maybe that you're going to be killed and your mom is going to be the queen. Just whispers, you could totally go if you want to. And then they're like, sir, should we prepare your dragon? He's like, I think maybe another day.
No, that pervert.
Good stuff. Another good Aegon scene.
That pervert is fucking nice with it, man. He's like Littlefinger-esque. That when he first walked up and said, I heard that you're going to war because you're so handsome and strong. I get it. I know. That was he took care of that business quick, fast.
But Lord, the top-rated comment says that you shouldn't be.
Have you seen what Twitter's saying?
You know what? That scene just hammers home. I'm like, oh, he wanted Alicent's titty handkerchief. That dude has every piece of clothing. Alicent has every game used piece of clothing. It looks like a fucking Hall of Fame in his house. Just Alicent shit. He has every piece of clothing she's ever had. Kniving. He is fucking playing 4D chess. And at this point, like, again, there's a lot about Team Green to hate. I think he is one of the most interesting characters in the entire show.
Larys or Aegon?
Larys.
Yeah.
Aegon's the people's king still, though. He's cool as fuck. We'll talk about it some more.
Yeah, I mean, the two guys, the two soldiers, like right there with Larys in that scene being like, hey, we're going to go out and fuck some chicks tonight? That is like, that's some shit like where your friend... Like I remember when I was graduating Fordham and I was going to get my MBA and I was still living in the dorms with my buddies, and I was like, guys, like I'm going to like graduate school now, so like I don't think I'm gonna be drinking every night, partying every night. Like, come on, I'm gonna go get my MBA, and they were like, yeah, okay, sure, buddy, yeah, you're so special now. Like the next night, I'm fucking drunk and playing beer pong and shit. It felt a lot like when your friend thinks he's like something that he's not, and you're like, oh yeah, totally, you got a new job, buddy, yeah, whatever. Like I've been in the whorehouse with you for the last 25 years, man. Shut up.
The Kingsguard too, man, like they are just straight bums. The Kingsguard is just a bunch of bums.
Oh.
Yo, his fucking son just got killed. You figure if anybody in the whole realm would have their fucking P's and Q's in check or whatever the fuck the saying is, it would be the Kingsguard. Be like, yo, we can't let this happen again. These guys are sitting down. Cole's like, you fucking assholes, you know, like
at least shape up for like, it's like when Dave comes to the office, like at least pretend you're doing your work.
Exactly.
Go back. You can go back
hypothetically speaking, say Dave were to buy the company and come to the office. Imagine if like no one was there working. Oh, that happened once in a year ago. So yeah, I can imagine it, Kevin.
That is true. But yeah, that was funny. Like you guys took your vow of celibacy though, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They're like, hey, Greg's never fucked. Do you want to come watch?
You want to watch it?
Like basically the way they went about it. And he's like, all right. And we see this guy Ulf walk into the bar. Like the next scene, he walks to the bar, super popular. Everyone's like, Ulf, you're the fucking man, Ulf. And he is the bastard brother to Damon, uncle to Rhaenyra, son of Balon, half brother of King Viserys. And he says his nephew is the rightful heir. And it was almost like a record scratch as he said it. He said it way too loud. And they were like, oh, there's your other nephew. And Aegon walks in with his boys, wasted already. And he completely makes a mockery of his brother Aemond. And this scene was crazy. I mean, we got a full-on blowjob. We got Aemond dick.
The fakest dick I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That dick was like straight arrow Gennaro and had like the weird tip. Like I think that was like a gag gift, like not even like a real dildo, like a fake funny dildo. That was
gifts.
Such a fake dick. That was crazy
because you can't show, like, it would just be porn.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why?
When it first popped on screen, I was like, HBO's doing what now? Like,
yeah.
Well, also, I mean, maybe I'm one of these. I'm a generation of men who's grown up on porn, and maybe my brain is my mind is warped. But that girl was giving some pretty terrible head. I don't know why, why make that thing so big if she's, either get Heather Brooke in there or just make that thing a little smaller because she was
pervert over here.
I wonder if there's rules since it's still on HBO that they have to like follow to a T. So they're like, all right, it could be like this. It's got to look fake. She can only go this far.
Yeah, I mean, like,
she can't do a good job. All right.
Yeah.
We draw the line at that.
Imagine if we got a Hawk Tua in the middle of Game of Thrones. If she was spitting on that thing, I mean, the memes would have gone
Hawk
wild.
Tua, my lord.
If I were them in the past 2 weeks, I would have done some like visual effects magic to do that just to have it go viral.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, let's get those. Like, let's get some Thrones Hawk Tua memes going.
Everyone talks about the stuff we lost during COVID. It's like you can't go to like every Mickey D's 24/7, all the stuff, and like everything's expensive now. At the same point, it's pretty easy to gamble in sports. Weed's a lot easier to get, and HBO's showing blowjobs now. So it's like
it's not even just. It's just dick on television. Dick everywhere. Euphoria, White Lotus. Aemon, we had the big fake dick, we had the small regular dick. Shout out to the regular guys out there. Like, there's just been dick everywhere. To a gratuitous amount. I'll say it. There's too much dick on television.
What level does he hate Aegon, by the way? As he's walking away, you see he's got that look in his eye in his one eye where he's just like, I fucking hate this guy. But does he hate him enough to like kill him and try to take the throne one day?
I know I would.
I don't know if he would do it himself. I think he's the one being like, you should go right out. Like, go out there. You're going to do great out there. And then he's just hanging back. Because that I felt like was what stopped Aegon when Larys said, your mom and your brother will be here. And that's when he was like, oh, shit. Like, they're going to start recognizing him as the king. Like, I think he definitely wants Aegon to die.
Yeah.
And hey, Aegon, I know he has a lot of holes of being king. Pissing on the realm, bad idea. Definitely a bad idea, you know? And I tell you, I think I have a thing for this whore because I feel bad for her, the Real Housewife, man. She was having a tough time, man.
Clem.
Bro, sometimes I don't think Clem realizes what comes out of his mouth. Like, I'll tell you, I got a thing for this fucking whore.
I mean, in a nice way, I feel bad for her. I like Shay. She was a nice person. Turned out she wasn't. This woman, she's just sitting there cuddling, and then she's getting just sold off to some dude who's never fucking banged. He's in a whorehouse. I just felt bad for my Real Housewife. I've never watched Real Housewives. I think I understand it after watching this. I feel like there's a charm.
Okay, so now the Real Housewives are whores? I don't know where
did that come from?
She looks like a Real Housewife. Tell me she looks like a Real Housewife. In New
Jersey.
That's
right. You said that last week. You said she looked like a real. I forgot about that.
That's what I call her. The housewives here.
Oh my god, the high council in the chat is going wild right now. Clem is reckless.
I'm not gonna get my costume designer is gonna fucking break up with me tomorrow. Don't clip it. Don't fucking clip it.
Gwaine, we cut back to this is the moon dancer scene. We get Gwaine and Cole. Cole is like getting antsy. He's like, let's fucking go. And Gwaine is like, nah, let's find a hotel and chill for the night, and you know, we'll get him tomorrow. Then Bayla and Moon Dancer spot him, swoop down. They do the whole thing. I thought there was a chance, like I said.
When like he looks up at the sun and it goes shadow, that was awesome.
Yes.
That was,
he's like, we've been spotted.
Like that's where Sir Criston is like, oh, okay, this guy knows like the battlefield. Like,
and he gets to have the I told you so moment afterwards. They do the GTA, they lose the stars, they get into the forest, and they can't be seen anymore.
They change
and then he's like, and he's like, and by the way, we're going tonight. There's no fucking staying at an inn.
Fucking inns. That's another Dave Portnoy, like on the blackout tour. You're sleeping in the bus, no fucking hotels.
And then when she swooped with that dragon, I swear to God, I just yelled murder because I wanted her to murder Criston Cole right on the battlefield. I was so excited.
Oh, I was yelling, do it. I was going, do it, do it.
And then when I saw the size of that dragon, I said, I don't know if that dragon has developed its fucking flame ability yet. It doesn't even breathe fire. I don't think it breathes fire.
This is a continued slander. Would you say the same thing about like a velociraptor? Like, sure, they're not a T-Rex, but they're going to fuck you up anyway. They're fast. They're fucking stealthy.
I mean, yeah, but it's like they don't breathe fire either. They're basically she's flying a velociraptor. Cool, not a fucking dragon.
I was worried the whole time, like that thing's so small. One of the bolts from that machine would rip through both of them.
Oh yeah, if one of those arrows hit.
When they're going towards the woods, I was like, isn't that where all the army is? Like, I'd imagine they brought a scorpion with. If you travel with the whole army and possibly there's dragons, you got to bring one of those.
I don't know. Because they said, speed is my ally, or fortune. You were trying to do a sneak attack. I think they were calling their pants down there, but it was like an infant dragon.
Well, like, here's what I would do, by the way, back at like, there ain't no internet. There ain't no witnesses. I would have just Dracarys those guys and been like, they started a war. They fucking threw the first punch. They fired that thing at me. Yeah. And I burnt it. It's gone. There's no evidence. But tell the world that. It's like Otto just telling everyone that Rhaenyra killed the baby. Just spin zone that shit. And, you also wipe out the hand of the king and the brother of the queen and all this shit. It's like, just do it and lie.
That's
I think she wanted to, right?
Yeah, she wants to.
She said to Rhaenyra, she's like, I know you told me, like I didn't exactly engage. She's like, I pretty much came as close as I could, but
like, at what point is does she say? I think Alicent says, or maybe it's Rhaenyra who says, like, Rhaenyra says basically, don't take my kindness for weakness, right? To White Worm. Like, at what point is her kindness weakness? Because it's like, it's not kindness, it's more like her cautiousness. But it's like, yo, you're gonna be behind the 8 ball. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's when you play by the rules in a ruleless game like war. It's like that's how you lose. You know, I mean, shit. Back in the day when it was like Barstool versus the world, we just do whatever the fuck we want, say whatever the fuck we wanted, and ESPN and other people would have to be all buttoned up and couldn't respond. It's like, all right, it's feeding time now, and that's what I feel like the Greens are doing.
It's the same thing as Survivor. The minute you start playing Survivor with your heart instead of your head, Will Compton puts a knife in your back. You can't do that. You have to just keep. You're at war, you know. Although to go back to the dragon you continually slander, Clem, the small council here made a good point that there was those small dragons that flamed the Unsullied guy back in Game of Thrones. That thing was like the size of a puppy, and he fucking flamed that dude to a crisp.
Has that dragon briefed Moon? All right, again, Moon Dancer, cool looking dragon, cool name dragon. I like the dragon. I'm rooting for the dragon. Can I just see
that last part? That's not genuine. You don't like the dragon, and you're not.
That's as
the
kids say.
I like the dragon.
Cap.
It's like a fucking the NBA draft just happened. I can see the highlights. I put up fucking 18-7 in France against France one day. It doesn't mean shit to me. I need to see it on the fucking hardwood.
You know why we know? You know why we know, Bob, that was Cap? Because we heard it in his voice when he said how much he loves that whore. We heard him say, we know what his voice sounds like when he was talking about that whore. So we know that it was not real with the dragon.
I like the name Moon Dancer. All right. I will not, I don't like anything else about the dragon right now. I do like the name Moon Dancer. I will say that.
It's a great name. And great final 2 scenes to cap this episode off. We see Damon locked in the room in Harrenhal. He's got the sword in to lock it, and it looks like someone's about to barge in. It's like, oh, what the fuck? And then he's immediately like walking into another room. He leaves, and you see someone with white hair and kind of looks like me from behind. It's like, what's going on here? It is Millie Alcock making her return as young Rhaenyra in a nightmare sequence, a dream sequence, you could call it that. But he kind of like, he sees her fucking sewing the head back on of the baby, and they really show it. And that was like, I was almost like wincing, not even really wanting to look. I was like, oh my God, the stitches just made me queasy. And then he like comes to in front of this giant tree, looks very like One-Eyed Raven-esque tree. And there's a girl there, and she's like, hey, you're going to die here. Just so you know, walks away all creepy like that. Crazy. But I don't think like
that girl's real, right?
She might not be real, but is he actually going to die there one day? Is she like, right about that?
And she's in the room when he first walks into that dinner scene, and she doesn't drop to her knee. She's not really like, nobody else acknowledges her. I feel like that's in Damon's head.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like some.
But like, how is it in his head? Is someone influencing?
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
Is it like a witch type thing?
Yeah, that's you know, they fucked around with witches and thrones, so I don't know if it's just like his guilt and his whatever and all this in his, and he's manifesting in his mind, or if it's like there's actually something there and it's just magical of nature. So I don't know what, but I mean, Rhaenyra I think is a dream sequence, if you will, but that
way to bring her back too.
Yeah, but the black-haired girl I feel like is like symbolic of something. I don't know.
You're right. I didn't even think that like she wasn't there. I just assumed she was and was a witch. But now the fact that like nobody reacted when she didn't kneel.
Right.
So like that is a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did like seeing the godswood or the werewood trees, I think they're called. Werewood. Like anytime you show those, I'm like, we're back in Thrones. But yeah, I don't know if I'm trying to think if there are witches of the old gods that could like get in his head, or if he's just losing his mind.
The small council is saying it's a character. Alex Rivers are saying, so it's apparently an important character. So it sounds like now whether or not she's actually there or it's all just her doing some witch magic, I don't know. But like, it's not. I think it's not like just a metaphor. We're doing a rewatch of Sopranos. That whole dream, I'm looking at I'm picking up the symbolism, like the leaky fucking roof. I feel like there's some symbolism in that. The way the swords are guarding the door. I feel like there's a lot of shit like that there. So, and I love seeing the weirwood trees. It kept bringing me right back to Thrones. I thought it was his wife at first. That woman. The one that he like.
Oh, the one.
Yeah, the girl that he bashed her head in because she was too ugly.
Yeah. So,
I went back and watched that
Shout out
today.
MJ in the chat.
He
By the
never
way, he
attacked
said
her. Her horse just went up. She
Yeah.
fell, broke the
Slip of the
back.
tongue. You're right, Nick.
It was
100% right.
it was sympathy. He was just ending it quick.
MJ in the chat does say werewood trees cause crazy dreams and hallucinations. So was it just that he walked up to the tree and it was almost like a drug hit him? And
that makes sense.
LSD, a bad trip or something like that. And then the final scene, which we teased before, Clem is basically in the setting of it now. Rhaenyra tells the White Worm she wants to meet with Alicent face to face. And they're like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to sneak you in? And they're like, we're going to have to sneak you in via a fishing boat and like a disguise. Like, as long as you cover up the hair and don't dress like a queen, people are not going to pay attention to you. As they're setting this up, I was like, oh my God, next week is going to be awesome. We're going to see her sneak in. We're going to see them meet face to face next week. I did not think we were getting it here. And when they started walking in, it was the Great Sept. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. That's what Cersei eventually blows up one day,
Fucking
right?
Blows up and everything. Yeah. As she starts walking in there, I'm like, oh shit, we're getting it. It's happening now.
The tension in that, like the music and the way it was shot, I was like on the edge of my seat thinking like she's going to get caught. They did that really, really well. Like I was, thinking like maybe she's not going to make it in. Like I know she was going to make it in, but I was like the way that that old guy was following her. And then, a couple, like some people were coming out with the guards. That was very well done.
She had the knife in the sleeve too. That was a good shot where you see it and you're like, oh fuck, like if shit goes down here, she's ready. And even the way she begins where she's like, if I scream, it's like, I'm sure your guards will get me right after I kill you. And then she's like, and then what happens?
What the fuck?
Oh fuck. That was a bad start. I'm sorry.
Can you go back to the beginning, please?
Yeah.
If you're Team Green, how do you fucking look yourself in the mirror? You got Team Black's Queen going into King's Landing, fucking dressed up right into the heart of the fucking lion's den, goes right face to face with your queen. Your queen's like, oh, what am I gonna do? You're surrounded by all your people. Fucking Queen Rhaenyra, man. What a fucking
dude. She's a fucking gangster. I can't decide whether, as we were saying earlier, you could probably walk around these cities and no one would know you. So in that regard, it's believable. In the other regard, it seemed a little like they just like threw a fucking hood on her like Clem, and she was able to just like get right up to the queen, like seemed a little bit like rushed and just they happened immediately the same way Eric and Eric just happened immediately last week. But that like Rhaenyra she has done it all. She has exhausted every option. She fucking snuck into the heart of the kingdom to say face to face, let's not do this. So like whatever else comes now, it's like, all right, now, this is just cause here. But boy, what a bad move by Alicent. Just shut your mouth. Don't give any extra details. Just say he changed his mind. When she said that shit, she's like, I almost wanted to be. Did anybody hear that?
Yeah. She's like, did you fucking say the prince that was promised?
That was great.
Is that the words he said?
Oh,
and then
so
Alicent, oh my God, Olivia Cook, is that her name? She was so good in this scene,
so good.
Telling the whole story with her eyes, even as she's kind of denying it. And no, he changed his mind. It's too late for that. Her eyes say, "Oh fuck, I fucked up."
Yeah,
like
when she goes, Aegon the Conqueror.
Yes. And they're both tearing up in the moment, and like. Yeah. The way that they played that was so good. It felt really so good. Massive. To borrow a term from MMA, it was a big fight feel. You got that like, oh shit, these two are back in the ring together, and who knows when they're going to be face to face next. But yeah, Alicent hits her with it's too late. It's kind of you're not wrong, but we've made our bet at this point.
Alicent is like the football player that knows he didn't catch the ball. He's like, get the next snap off so they can't down. Like, he's just fucked. And the acting by both of their faces, like just like those like couple seconds was like, holy shit. Like it just clicks for both of them. It was awesome.
But like, so now there's a lot of things that you can justify that have unfolded along the way. But ultimately, you started this war, bitch. You started this whole fucking war. Because if you just, you would have been you know, you would have been mad about my bastard kids, and you would have had a gripe about your son being, you know, the blood, and maybe he should be on, and you would have just lived out your life a little bit disgruntled, and there wouldn't have been a full-blown dragon civil war, all because you made up this fucking lie. So, you know, fuck off. I think that at the heart of the show for me is Alicent and Rhaenyra, and they've kind of mirrored each other in good ways and bad ways. And this to me is like a clear, like, Rhaenyra is good. You are an asshole. You fucked this whole thing up.
The thing is, though, the thing that fucks me up is every time I come back to him, like, but you technically heard it and just, you know, perceived it, obviously.
No, she said
like, he did say something, and I fucking hate the Greens. You don't think so?
I think that she knows, like, I think she's like, he did say the name. Like, I don't think she thinks in her heart.
I don't know, though. She was surprised. She seemed like almost surprised tonight. When she put it together, it almost seemed like a, oh, fuck.
Yeah,
like,
but I think that's like a Costanza. It's not a lie if you believe it. I think she's been saying this and saying this and saying this. Like, I in the moment when he said it, I think it was very like, I'm going to jump on this opportunity here. Not, oh, I think he actually changed his mind.
Her entire, like, basis for claiming the throne is the note from Succession where, what does it say? Like, Tom with, like, a question mark or the underline or something? Like,
is it underlined or crossed through?
Her entire claim of the throne is a cross out or an underline. That's what her claim is. And there's a million other things that say no fucking chance he wants him to take over for him. But she's like, no, he said the name Aegon and Prince was promised in his fucking basically death knell. So it is one of those things. I think she believes it. But I think now. I think
so too.
Now, if you put her to a polygraph, I think the day before put her to a polygraph, she's like, nope, he wanted it. Now she'd be like, she wouldn't pass it, I don't think.
Yes, I agree.
I agree with you guys, Clem, Robbie, because she was so shocked that Otto already had plans to take over when she's like, I just talked to him. He died, but he said it was Aegon. And they're like, we got to take care of. And she was like, what do you
the coronation's tomorrow, by the way. Here's a flyer.
Yeah.
That's the best part. Like, if Otto heard this now, he'd be like, all right, cool, we're just gonna undo everything because my fucking grandsons are morons. They can't run this shit. Like, even Otto has turned against his own fucking family. He'd probably be like, Rhaenyra, take over, just promise you won't murder us, and you can just have the fucking throne because shit's about to get bad.
So you guys, you think Alicent honestly was like, she really believed that he wanted Aegon to be the king?
I think so.
Yeah, I never got that vibe because I
always
think
was like,
so he never said it like Rhaenyra said.
Like
every day of his life it was all about me. He reaffirmed it like a million times, and then I think she just like saw this like sliver of a door open and worked her way in. But
I think the chat is right. We got Emily and Kevin in the chat, both saying kind of the same thing. Emily says she was looking for proof and took it. Kevin says she heard what she wanted to hear.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
she did in the back of her mind, like, she wanted to hear that, and then she heard it, and she was almost like, "Oh my god, it happened."
Right.
But it wasn't like
I don't think it was an honest like, guys, he told me, and like I really mean it. I think it was like he said the name. He said the name. He said the name. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 feet in bounds, catches the ball because he has control with the feet in bounds. That's the problem, Kev. And now she's realizing incomplete.
Right.
Is there any chance Team Black can lure her over to this side? There was, I got little Darth Vader vibes of like, all right, we didn't pull him to the light side yet, but she knows what she did was wrong. She knows that she was wrong in the first place now. Maybe she thinks we went too far at some point. I don't know, because kids are dying and babies are getting beheaded, but I don't know. It would be sweet if she came over and teamed up.
Alicent going to NWO Wolfpack?
I mean, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be
and at that point, like, who's there to run Team Green? I guess like Cole and whatnot. Yeah. But like, I don't know. At the end of this, when she walked away, I was like,
Team Green is fucked without Alicent.
Literally Team Green. That's her fucking house's color, too. That'd be the best part if she
and without, if Otto was there, they could maybe survive. But without either Hightower, you're fucked.
Yeah. You got Aegon running shit. Larys trying to hold everything together.
Don't worry, guys. Yeah. The hand of the king will take care of this. Criston Cole with the dumbass haircut.
Yeah. And I mean, what would he do? He can't go down on Alicent for 24 hours a day anymore.
Yo,
he's got the brother
home alone with her too. Oh, he's gonna get into some shit. Oh,
That was House of the Dragon season 2, episode 3. I saw some people in the beginning of the episode when we started recapping it in the chat saying like boring episode. I really hated it. This season's boring. I feel completely opposite. Like I genuinely loved tonight's episode.
I think there are, some things that are not like perfectly executed right now with the last couple episodes, but I think people have like forgotten how to watch TV. I don't know if it's like the rise of streaming and on demand and reality and like everything is TikTok and all that. But like you do need to set things up. You do need to have, storytelling and plot development and all that sort of shit. Now, Game of Thrones the first time around did it like perfectly. Even just watching the first couple episodes, it was like they did it all in such an engaging way where they're laying the foundation, but it's all gripping. This has been, a couple things I thought like that weird, there's a couple filler scenes where they're jamming people in here and there, but this is good television. And next week I think will be a big payoff. This is the Dance of Dragons. This is what we're all waiting for. Now, what I hope they don't do though, I also don't want it to just be a battle episode. As much as I'm saying, give me dragons. Yeah. I don't want to just clinking fucking swords and fire and like no dialogue and no plot and all that. So I'm hoping next week is a good balance of both and really delivers as like a halfway point.
Let me clarify too. When I said I want more, like I want dragons, like I'm fine this episode. You don't need dragons every episode. We haven't gotten a lot of dragons or at least causing carnage. It's just don't keep showing me like, oh, dragons were here. They caused chaos. That's it. At some point I need to see dragons. Sounds like next episode though, we're getting our payoff for, the first half of the season, which we're already halfway through after the next episode. So I'm feeling good about the season. I'm feeling good about tonight's episode. People are going to hate it. I mean, like people are like this with Good Thrones episodes too, right, Kev? Like back in the day. Yeah.
I mean, I said there was 3 things I didn't like about last week's episode. And, was immediately met with the fanboys and girls of the world who just like, there are some people who just can do no wrong in their eyes. And, that we did that with Game of Stools the first time around, saying that season 8 wasn't going very well and they all jumped down our throats. And then, a few weeks later, everyone was like, oh yeah, those episodes sucked. And I was like, remember when you told me like to burn, like you were going to kill my family because you didn't like my takes on this. And now you all fucking agree with me. You can also like a TV show and not love every single thing about it at all times. So
I wish I could have seen Trent's face when Rhaenyra was in the dream. I mean, like, what the fuck? Like, until we've gone past these time jumps, our poor sweet little Trent. I mean, everyone was like puking because there's a little baby's neck slit, and he's just like did the old Trent look, right? Like the double thing. Also, real quick, MVP, LVP for the episode.
I hate to say it, but my MVP goes to Larys.
I was going to say it too.
Like. Fucking what, maybe 120 seconds on screen total and did the most damage. LVP.
He also became part of the small council. He got Master Whispers. Like that's big jump in just 2 minutes on screen. Yeah.
2 minutes, yeah.
Aegon became king the day he shouted out the clubfoot. Now that he's like, I'm the Master Whispers. Yeah. That's king shit right there. You have to fucking get dirty. His dad didn't like it. He's like, no, fuck that. You're my guy. And that might save his like reign as king, basically, having that dude around.
My LVP is that girl giving bad head to that fake dick.
So is it the girl or the dick that's getting LVP or both?
The dick.
I would give my LVP to the 2 fucking old Muppets in Team Black.
Yeah.
Dude. I was thinking they're like the 2 old guys. Those 2 fucking
they are. Go to war.
Yeah, I was just.
We know who Clem's
MVP. I would give to Alicent for like Clem laid it out at the end. Like Team Black, I'm fucking riding with this queen, or not Alicent, Rhaenyra. I'm sorry, riding with Team Rhaenyra, of course.
Clem's MVP is his beloved whore. Who is your LVP?
Hey, man, she's probably the only thing keeping this realm afloat. Because if that dude wants to just turn everyone to ash,
that's a good point.
She's the most powerful.
The day that Aemond is like, fucking running wild, everybody's fucked. So just let him, lay on her boobs every night, because otherwise it's trouble.
I'll give LVP to Gwaine. Just because he gave fucking Criston Cole like a moment of like, oh, I'm good at this shit. By fucking up, you made him think like he's like a good manager when he's an absolute fucking.
Making Criston Cole be the cool guy in a scene is almost impossible. Remember, I said you have to introduce Nazis in order to set like. Well, instead it was Gwaine. He is the Nazis of being cool. That's how fucking lame he is.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so Larys is my MVP for that scene, and then LVP, it's got to be Aemon, because if your brother walks in on you just fetal position, ass out on it, like you never live that down. You have no power for the rest of you. He's
You
in
know
the
what,
small
though?
council meetings.
Let me
brought up.
let me counter that though. If you do get caught by your older brother laying like a baby with your butt out, just turning around, full cock out, being like, "Whatever, guys, you can do whatever you want. I'm naked, man." Like, it
That was
it
a power
doesn't
move.
totally undo it, but it's just like, you don't have power over me anymore. I don't give a fuck.
He should have done the Feidelberg. Feidelberg saw the guy in the bathroom once, just go like, "I've got the smallest dick in the room." All right. Again, we are going to be on the My Mom's Basement feed going forward. I mean, if you're listening to this and you've made it to the end of the episode, I guess you know that already, but make sure you subscribe on all the channels. We'll be back every Sunday night after the episodes conclude. Also live on TikTok across all the realms. Thanks to producer Nick Hamilton. He's got us live everywhere. If you're in Westeros, you could still watch the show on Sunday nights.
The master of
we'll
tech.
be back. Yes, the master of tech. We'll be back next week to hopefully recap a wild mid-season conclusion of sorts, and I'm very excited for it. So hope to see you back in the High Council.
I was going to say, it was brought up in the small council. If you are doing a rewatch of the original Game of Thrones, there are a couple scenes that give away a ton of this stuff. Big events at the end. Kev, I'll send you a screenshot of what scene it is. So when it comes up, just jump by it, because they do say the end of this series.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
It's very casual throwaway conversation, but yeah, be careful if you're diving back in.
Wow,
that's funny.
Yeah,
okay.
I found out about it on TikTok, and when I did a rewatch last year, skip past that scene. But I do think it's been ruined for me. What else was I going to say? Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff helps a lot.
Awesome.
All right,
we'll see you next week.
See you next week.